Hi, I'm Shawn Warren with Shawn Warren Fine Art. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about studio safety. Using non-toxic painting supplies is important to me because my studio is in my home and I don't want to expose my family to harmful substances. I live in Colorado, so ventilation is also a problem during the winter months. I've been using Liquid until recently I ran out, and I decided to check into this a little bit and see if there were some safer alternatives. First of all, Liquid is flammable and it's not good to breathe it, so you need to have a lot of ventilation if you're going to use this, and it can cause skin irritation if it's on your fingers or your hands. It's also not good for fish if it gets into the water supply, so you don't want to be washing it down your sink. It can cause lung damage if it's swallowed. It's recommended that gloves be worn, and I almost always wear these blue neoprene gloves when I paint, not just for safety but also for cleanliness, because I'm the cook in our house and nobody wants multicolored meatloaf. I also use Cobalt dryer to speed the drying of my thin underlayers when I'm glazing. It only takes a couple drops in a little tin of turp to do the job, but this stuff is pretty toxic. It contains petroleum and cobalt, and hey, cobalt's radioactive, isn't it? Its flash point is pretty low at 100 Fahrenheit, so it doesn't take much to catch it on fire. Exposure can cause allergic reaction, damage to the testes, yikes, or damage to the heart. It contains cancer-causing chemicals, probably the cobalt. It needs ventilation, and they recommend that you use a respirator and an exhaust fan when you're using it, as are, again, my gloves and eye protection. So, yeah. I had class one time, and someone spilled a whole bottle of this all over the floor, and it was kind of scary, actually. Luckily, I don't use it often, but I haven't found a suitable replacement. If you know one, please let me know so I can pass it on. I have found some safe drying mediums. Weber, the company that makes permalba paint, also makes a product called resin gel, and it speeds up the drying of your painting. It washes up with soap and water, and it has the consistency of Vaseline, so it's a good product. I recently came across another product made by the Weber company, and it's called Liquid Glaze Natural, and this is non-toxic. It's not petroleum based, and it's safe. It speeds up the drying of your painting, and it cleans up with soap and water, and it has basically the same consistency as Liquid. So I really can't wait to use this on my next painting. If you watched my last video on recycling solvent and brush wash, you know that I've recently started using this product, which is Terpenoid Natural, to clean my brushes. I don't use it on my paintings, I just use it for cleaning my brushes because it's a very powerful solvent. It's non-toxic, non-flammable, and it's safe for the environment. You could pour it down the sink if you wanted, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's so powerful that it just might eat through your pipes, so it does a great job cleaning my brushes. You can let it settle in the jar and then pour it into another jar and reuse it. I just let it sit. It does tend to turn to pudding though, and get kind of thick, so I know I'm not going to get nearly as much life out of a bottle of Terpenoid Natural as I did with Gamsol, which is what I used before. But I like the fact that it's good for the environment and it's healthy, so I probably will continue to use it. While I'm on the subject of mineral spirits, I don't know why anyone would want to use regular mineral spirits or real turpentine, especially in a closed environment. When I first started painting, I didn't know any better, and I used regular turpentine in my basement, but needless to say, that did not last long. There's a handy way to tell if your products are non-toxic and safe to use. There's an organization called the Art and Creative Materials Institute, and they use a toxicology consulting team from Duke University to do all of their testing on art products, especially for children. There's two designations that they've come up with. The first one is AP. If you can see this little circle with AP, that means that it's safe to use. There's no toxic ingredients in it. If you see the letter CL in a circle, and this one actually has a skull and crossbones on it as well. It means that the safety precautions are appropriate for the product. In other words, it could be toxic, but the instructions for safe use are sufficient, and if used as advised, you won't poison yourself. Only products tested by the ACMI are labeled this way. Always read the label closely. Paint is another thing to watch out for. The CADs and the Cobalt and lead white all contain harmful elements. If you want to get away from this, purchase a hue instead. Most of the expensive paints you see will be the pure toxic element. The hues are usually non-toxic, but again, read your label. Normally you'll be fine with your paint as long as you're not picking your nose or eating in your studio. The oils that we use, such as refined linseed oil, are flammable, but they are safe to use. In fact, linseed oil is the painter's version of flaxseed oil. I often use oil to dip my brush in rather than a medium or Gamsol. I tend to be a slow painter and I don't want the paint to dry too fast. I keep a HEPA air cleaner going 24/7 in my studio, and in the summertime we have a swamp cooler, so I keep the window cracked, and so there's a constant flow of clean air coming through my house and taking the bad air out. So that's how I handle air filtration in my studio. I hope this information has been helpful in helping you to make decisions for your health and for that of the environment. Thanks for watching today. Please visit ShawnWarrenFineArt.com or any of these social media sites. I've also included my contact information in the links below. I'll be adding new video weekly, so please subscribe to my channel so you'll be sure not to miss a thing.